Your baby looks away from you mid-interaction. Not at anything, just away. You lean closer, smile bigger, shake the toy harder. They keep looking away. 3 hours later, they grab a fistful of your hair. You untangle it. They grab again. That night you rock them past exhaustion. Their fists are clenched. Their face is tense. But no crying yet. You wait for the cry to tell you what they need. The cry arrives. And somewhere underneath that moment, you feel like you missed something. You did. 5 things, actually. And your baby has been sending everyone since the first week of life. The natural assumption. Pre-verbal babies cannot communicate meaningfully. They signal basic needs through crying. Everything else is random behavior. That assumption sat at the center of infant development science for decades. It felt completely logical. Then in 1978, Edward Tronick, a developmental psychologist at Harvard Medical School, began documenting something that did not fit. Babies were not waiting for language to communicate. They were already running a complete, structured signal system. Most parents had simply stopped knowing how to read it. Tronick called the system he documented the mutual regulation model. Mutual regulation means a shared, two-way process of managing emotional and biological states between infant and caregiver. Here is what his research found. Your baby arrives already operating a complete signal system. Not primitive or accidental. Structured and layered. Organized hierarchically, meaning signals run in order from lowest intensity to highest at the lowest level, subtle signals. Body orientation, gaze direction, muscle tension in hands and face at the middle level, behavioral signals, turning toward or away, reaching. Stiffening, at the highest level, the cry. Think of your baby's communication system like an emergency broadcast network with multiple alert levels. A professional emergency network does not open at the highest alert. It escalates through each level in sequence. The highest alert fires only when every lower alert failed to produce a response. Your baby operates the same logic. Tronick's research documented a clear pattern. Parents who read signals at the lower levels, meaning before the cry, produced measurably different outcomes in their infants. Better emotional regulation, stronger language development, lower baseline cortisol, meaning lower resting stress hormone levels. The parents reading more of the broadcast were building a more regulated nervous system in their child. The 5 signals below live at the lower levels of that broadcast. Your baby has been sending every one. Signal 1. Your baby looks away from you suddenly during interaction. The misread, rejection, disinterest, loss of engagement, the actual signal. I need 30 seconds to process what just happened. Your baby's nervous system can only absorb so much social and sensory information before it reaches processing capacity. Gaze aversion, meaning the deliberate turn of the face away from a stimulus, is an active self-regulatory process, not passive withdrawal. Tronick's 1978 Harvard research documented this precisely. When infants avert their gaze, cortisol levels drop within seconds. Heart rate slows. The nervous system begins resetting. The look away is a regulation tool. Your baby is using it deliberately, what most parents do. Lean in, make larger gestures, increase vocal volume, try to recapture attention. What that does, it reintroduces the sensory input the baby's nervous system is actively trying to process. The reset cannot complete. The regulation cycle restarts from 0. Tronick found something specific. Babies whose gaze aversion was followed by a brief caregiver pause re-engaged within an average of 30 seconds. Babies whose gaze aversion was met with increasing stimulation took significantly longer to return to calm engagement. The look away is not the end of the interaction. It is the processing pause in the middle of it. Signal 2. Your baby grabs your face, hair, or clothing and holds on. The misread, random motor exploration. Reflexive grasping. Physical need like hunger. The actual signal, I am initiating a conversation. Colwyn Trevarthen at the University of Edinburgh documented what he called proto-conversation, beginning in 1979. Proto-conversation means a pre-linguistic exchange that carries the turn-taking structure of a real conversation. Intentional reaching toward your face is not random. It is the opening move of a turn-taking sequence. Your baby reaches. They pause. They wait for your response. Think of it like the opening pulse of a telegraph message. The first signal is brief and precise. It is sent before the full transmission follows. Trevarthen found that infants whose reaching overtures were met with a contingent response, meaning a direct, timely response that acknowledged the contact, showed stronger proto-linguistic development at 8 months. Proto-linguistic means the precursor skills that spoken language later builds on. When your baby grabs your face and you respond directly, you are answering the opening line. Your baby's developing communication system records one specific fact. Initiating contact with this person produces a reliable response. The reason your baby has a complete pre-verbal signal system instead of simply crying for every need goes back to a survival logic. Crying is costly. It requires significant energy expenditure. It broadcasts location to any potential environmental threat. It also requires a recovery period afterward. A baby who could communicate needs at lower intensity levels, without full cry activation, used fewer calories, made fewer environmental broadcasts, recovered faster. Evolution, meaning the process by which organisms develop traits that increase survival over millions of years, selected for the layered signal system because it was more efficient than the cry-first alternative. The cry is the fallback. The lower-level signals are the preference. Your baby is not choosing to communicate subtly. Your baby is built to. Signal 3, your baby arches their back, the misread. Reflux. Pain. Anger. Protest, the actual signal. The current situation has exceeded my regulatory capacity. Something needs to change. T. Barry Brazelton at Harvard Medical School spent decades from the 1950s onward documenting neonatal behavioral states. Neonatal behavioral states are the distinct, organized levels of arousal and responsiveness that define how an infant's nervous system is functioning at any given moment. His research identified back arching as a behavioral state transition signal. The baby's nervous system is communicating that the current position, sensory input level, or social stimulation level needs to change, not because something is wrong with the baby, because the regulatory system has hit its current upper limit. When your baby arches away from you during a hold, your instinct is to pull them closer. That instinct directly opposes what the signal is requesting. The baby is asking for reduced proximity or changed position. Pulling closer increases the input that already exceeded capacity. Note, back arching that consistently occurs during or after feeding or combines with persistent crying warrants a conversation with your pediatrician. This is educational, not diagnostic. Signal 4. Your baby's fists clench before any crying starts. The misread. Anger, or that nothing is actually wrong yet. Most parents wait for the cry, the actual signal. I am at the top of my regulatory range. This is the first transmission. Respond now. Brazelton's neonatal behavioral state research documented a specific pre-cry state. Muscle tension increases throughout the body. Fists clench. The face tenses, but the cry has not yet started. This state lasts an average of 60 to 90 seconds before escalating. Darcia Narvaez at the University of Notre Dame documented early cue recognition in research, published in the Journal of Child Psychology and Psychiatry in 2011. Parents who consistently responded to pre-cry signals produced infants with lower baseline stress reactivity at 12 months. Their nervous systems had recorded one specific fact: the early signal works. Escalating further is unnecessary. A baby whose early signals produce consistent responses becomes a baby who spends less time at full cry distress. Better regulation across the board. The clenched fist is not anger. It is alert level 1. And it is asking you to respond before the broadcast escalates. Signal 5. Your baby's body stays oriented toward you while their face turns away. This is the signal most parents never notice at all. The misread. Full withdrawal. Baby wants to be put down. Baby is done. The actual signal. I want to keep the connection. I need to regulate at the same time, both. Daniel Stern at Cornell University Medical College documented this dual signal in his foundational 1985 work, the interpersonal world of the infant. Think of it like a 2-channel radio transmission running simultaneously. Channel 1, the body station, broadcasts, "Stay close. I want proximity. Do not leave." Channel 2, the face station, broadcasts, "Reduce input. Give me space to process." Both channels run at the same time. A parent who monitors only one channel misses half the message. When a parent reads only the face channel and moves away or ends the interaction, the baby receives a response to the wrong signal. The baby needed proximity maintained and stimulation paused. They received stimulation paused and proximity removed. Over repeated misreadings, Stern documented something significant. The baby begins suppressing the face-away signal entirely. They stop taking regulation breaks during social interaction. They push through to full distress rather than signal a need they have learned, produces the wrong response. Stern called this the cost of miscommunication at the pre-verbal level. It does not happen in one moment. It accumulates across thousands of small interactions. But here is the finding across all 5 signals that surprised Tronick's Harvard team most. Parents who learned to read these signals did not have to try harder with their babies. They had to try differently, the same energy, directed at a different moment, lower on the escalation scale, earlier in the sequence. And the outcome data for those infants, tracked forward over years, revealed something significant about what earlier reading actually builds. If this is new to you, subscribe to NeuralNursery. A new topic like this every single week. 3 things every parent should do after these 5 signals. First, build a 5-second observation pause before responding to any signal other than the cry. Here is why this works. Tronick's mutual regulation model research found a consistent pattern across thousands of parent-infant interactions. Parents who paused briefly before responding gave themselves time to read which level of the broadcast they were actually receiving. Doctorants who responded immediately, before completing that reading, responded to the wrong level approximately 40% of the time. Here is exactly what to do. When you notice any signal, count silently to 5 before moving. Use those 5 seconds to answer 3 questions. Is the body oriented toward me or away? Is the face toward me or away? Are the hands open or clenched? Those 3 readings identify the signal level. They tell you whether to increase input, decrease input, or hold position. Body toward you, face away, hands open. Hold your position. Say their name softly. Wait. They are regulating and will return within 30 seconds. Body toward you, face away, hands clenched. Reduce all stimulation immediately. No new visual, auditory, or tactile input. Hold quietly. Alert level 1 is running. E away, face away, hands clenched. This is the broadcast at high escalation. Pick up. Hold. No attempts to add stimulation. The system needs to discharge before it can re-engage. Second, respond to signal 1. Gaze aversion with silence and stillness for 30 seconds. Here is why this works. Tronick's research found that the regulatory cycle initiated by gaze aversion completes in an average of 30 seconds when the caregiver matches the baby's state shift, meaning the caregiver also reduces input. The cycle does not complete when the caregiver increases input. It restarts from 0. Here is exactly what to do. The moment your baby looks away during face-to-face interaction, stop all sounds. Stop all movement. Maintain your position at the same distance. Keep your face calm and available, but not expressive. Count 30 seconds. In most cases, your baby will turn back within that window. That return is the re-engagement signal. The regulatory cycle is complete. Your baby is ready for the next exchange. When they return, match their energy level on re-entry. Do not relaunch at the same intensity that triggered the aversion. Start lower. Let them set the pace of what follows. Third, learn the pre-cry state signature of your specific baby. Here is why this works. Narvaez's early cue recognition research at Notre Dame found that this skill has a learning curve. Each baby has individual signatures for the pre-cry state. The fist clench is common across most infants, but some babies show it first in the jaw, some in the shoulders, some in a specific breath pattern that precedes sound. Here is exactly what to do. Over the next 7 days, Set one dedicated 10-minute observation window each day. Your only goal during that window is not to interact, only observe. Watch what your baby's face, hands, and body do in the 20 minutes before a cry begins. Every time it happens, write 3 words that describe what you saw. By day 7, you will have a vocabulary for your specific baby's pre-cry state. You will recognize their early broadcast before it has ever reached the cry level. That vocabulary is one of the most useful tools you will build in your baby's entire first year. No parenting book can give it to you. Only your baby can. There is a moment most parents describe in almost identical words, standing over their baby, watching the escalation toward a cry, feeling like they are always one step behind, always responding after, never catching the signal in time. That moment is not evidence of failure. It is evidence that nobody told you the broadcast was running before the cry. Edward Tronick spent his career at Harvard documenting the signal system your baby was born with. He was not studying extraordinary babies. He was studying ordinary infants in ordinary rooms with ordinary parents who had simply not been told what to look for. His finding was consistent across all of them. Every baby was communicating at the lower levels of the broadcast. Everyone, without exception. And the parents who began reading those lower levels did not become different parents. They became more present ones, the same attention they always had, directed at a different moment, a moment that was always there, one step earlier than the cry. Daniel Stern spent decades at Cornell documenting what happens across thousands of small interactions between a parent and an infant. His conclusion was direct. The relationship between a parent, the previous response, was cut off mid-sentence in Beat 7. Here is the complete finishing section. Beat 7 conclusion, Beat 8, and the full package below. There is a moment most parents describe in almost identical words, standing over their baby, watching the escalation toward a cry, feeling like they are always one step behind, always responding after, never catching the signals in time. That moment is not evidence of failure. It is evidence that nobody told you the broadcast was running before the cry. Edward Tronick spent his career at Harvard documenting the signal system your baby was born with. He was not studying extraordinary babies. He was studying ordinary infants in ordinary rooms with ordinary parents who had simply not been told what to look for. His finding was consistent across all of them. Every baby was communicating at the lower levels of the broadcast. Everyone, without exception. And the parents who began reading those lower levels did not become different parents. They became more present ones. The same attention they always had, directed at a different moment, a moment that was always there, one step earlier than the cry. Daniel Stern spent decades at Cornell, documenting what happens across thousands of small interactions between a parent and an infant. His conclusion was direct. The relationship between a parent and an infant is not built in the big moments. It is built in the 30-second look away, in the pause before the fist unclenches, in the stillness you hold while your baby processes something they cannot yet put into words. Those moments are not gaps in connection. They are where the connection is being assembled, one small exchange at a time. Your baby has been sending the signal since the first week. Now you know what it says.